and welcome back to the European Masters. We're getting ready to go now into our third and final game here between Karmine Corp and UCAM. Only one team can proceed into the grand finals and take on BTXL from the NLC. And so far, we've had a very dominant game from Karmine Corp, and then a game which, honestly, UCAM just took over. Beautiful stuff from them, and it's really on Karmine Corp to change things up here.
Instantly get the first Skarner ban coming out, yeah. It was a problem. It allowed so much proactivity for UCAM. The Skarner attacks was paid by all members, but put you behind in gold, and UCAM just completely managed to set the pace of the game. Really good from them. Now, we are starting to continue with similar bans from last time around. K-Corp did choose to stay on blue side despite it being their only loss. Now, Hecarim was their first ban last time. Thresh was their last, so one of those likely to change. Whereas UCAM, they've been banning Seraphine, Ryze, Renekton all series. I don't expect that to change.
I remember, Karmine Corp are the ones that chose blue side. Typically, we've seen teams leaning a little bit more towards that red side, but Karmine Corp wanting to get that first pick and get the priority on what's been left open for them. The Jinx is still there. You know, xMatty has been favoring it in this series. Things like the Kai'Sa are still open and available. The Udyr is going to get taken away. And that means that you can probably have to ban away this Hecarim, or Cinkrof will take that.
Yeah, I'm kind of confused about the Thresh ban, though. I mean, I guess maybe they expected the change from K-Corp, and they didn't want to deal with K-Corp having, like, Thresh Jinx, but they're on blue side. They can only take one of them. I don't know. This is... Bans have changed drastically when I didn't think there was necessarily a need to. K-Corp are going to be able to pick up that Jinx. Thresh is off the cards, however, because of UCAM themselves banning it. But the thing that has dropped in priority heavily is the jungle pool. We've seen, as you said, Hecarim, Udyr, and Skarner covering all of the jungle picks we've seen so far this series now at the table, so it's going to be something new without doubt.
Well, see what UCAM are looking to pick up here. They're going to take the Olaf, a bit of a denial pick from Adam, but also potential flexible pick here. We do know it can technically be played in the top lane, but most likely we'll see it in the jungle for Hadess. There's the Kai'Sa for Rafitta. Absolutely flawless game from him on that, so understandable pickup. Now questioning what the pick is going to be here for Karmine Corp. Are they going to look to maybe deny something like the Alistair away from Plasma, who had a fantastic game too on that, or give Adam something strong in the top lane? He's going to take himself the Renekton, and Saken takes the Ryze. That's a rotate. That's a scary rotation for Karmine Corp.
Yeah, so this is what I'm kind of confused about, because game 1, UCAM banned Seraphine, Ryze, Renekton. Game 2, UCAM banned Seraphine, Ryze, Renekton. Game 3, they changed it to the Thresh, despite the fact K-Corp were banning it. And now they're dealing with arguably Saken's best champion and one of Adam's best champions as well. Yeah. I wouldn't want to be going into this in game 3 when one loss means you're out. So it looks a little bit rough. We do see the Orianna come in for Baca as something that can try and contest that priority in the mid lane. But all in all, I feel like that's a lot of power in K-Corp's hands already in this one.
Still a die for both of these teams, and for the Superliga and Spain as in general as a region. The last time they had a representative in the finals at the European Masters, it was 2019. So it's been a very long time since they've had a representation in the finals. And UCAM are a team that are equipped to do so. They've taken down a game versus Karmine Corp, a team who have been heavily touted as one of the strongest teams in the region and in the tournament. And realistically, I think these two teams are scary, and I'm really excited to see who's going to come out here. But we're still going into this ban phase. Ban phase 2, Nocturne and a Rel have been taken away, followed up by the Xin Zhao.
Yeah, so just thin the jungle pool even more. At this point, Cinkrof is kind of getting a lot of his junglers targeted. At this point, Lillia is left open as available as something he's played in the tournament that hasn't been banned away at this point, but we'll have to see what he decides on. We see the Alistair and the Rel targeted, but UCAM happy to pick up the Leona for Plasma. Obviously, Rakan is something that he likes to play, but by picking the Leona, it kind of limits what Targamas can take in. A lot of those aggressive roaming supports that we like to see Targamas on have been taken away.
Looks like the Lillia is probably going to be the pickup here for Cinkrof. I can't really think what else really want to get their hands onto, and I think it's going to suit what they want. So that is going to be the case. I guess you could probably have rocked the Nidalee and then look to play through Adam with the Renekton Nidalee, but they are just going to play for the Lillia here. And now looking for a support to round out this comp. With the Leona taken away, maybe we can see something like a Nautilus getting picked up if they want to go for a more CC-orientated support. But if they want to deny the CC, this TahmKench might not be all that bad of a rotation, actually.
Yeah, I think it makes sense with the Jinx trying to keep xMatty safe, because obviously we saw UCAM very heavily looking to try and punish the Jinx in that situation. Now, UCAM have done what they didn't do last game. They gave Dreedy the counter pick, so he's going to be able to take what he wants to Renekton. Could have picked this up earlier, but opted to leave it till here. And see what they want to take it. Not really going to talk about the hovers yet. I think, yeah. For me, I think Camille's... special though, yeah. I wouldn't be picking Camille into Renekton. The whole point of getting counter pick is so you don't end up with Camille into Renekton, but instead, Dreedy's going to bring out the Urgot again. Something that can do pretty well into the Renekton in this situation, but I'm a little bit concerned, in all honesty, because I feel like UCAM have strong tools. When we look at their composition, they still have pretty powerful dive when it all in all. But when I look at what Corp has, I feel like they've just got so much strength in their comp in terms of having picks that work so well for them. I feel like xMatty on the Jinx, Saken on the Ryze, Adam on the Renekton is kind of as good as you can hope for. And I feel like the Lillia obviously is down in the priority in terms of what's been offered, but is good disengage. If you can land a Lilting Lullaby, it can definitely put a stop on what UCAM's doing. And then the TahmKench, again, providing that peel.
It does feel like KC have picked up a fair amount of comfort in this rotation, in this draft, but I do think that UCAM as well on the other side, it's not like there's a bad comp at all. I don't think either team's actually been out drafted here. I think it's going to be very much an execution thing in this game. So let's talk a little bit about what UCAM need to do. What is this team's game plan right now?
So I think it's still very much you need to set the pace of the game. I think Olaf, very much an aggressive early jungler. You're going to be doing fine. Against Lillia, early levels is quite difficult because obviously she has phase rush, she has the movement speed, she can just kite away from you. But your early skirmishing power, I want to see you take advantage of that and look to challenge. Try and find some pressure in the bot lane, give priority over so that Plasma can pair up with you, and then look to establish pressure on the map. Saken's playing Ryze, you can definitely look to punish that mid laner. Do to him what Corp did to Baca last game, send 3 members mid, kill the Ryze again and again, put him behind.
All right, well, we're on to the Rift. Karmine Corp versus UCAM for the final time. One of these teams will be saying goodbye to the European Masters, and the other will be heading into tomorrow's finals versus BTXL. Keep our eyes on this game as for the first time in a long time, it hasn't been an Udyr Hecarim matchup, which is lovely. That's the kind of change I like.
Yeah, it was kind of a little bit stale, but you know, I think Lillia Olaf pre-6, Lillia is actually in a pretty good spot, as obviously just the movement speed allows you to dodge away from the axes. But post-6, it can be a bit tricky. The extra movement speed from Olaf's ultimate helps him get in range, and also just the fact that you can't sleep him can cause issues. Do you see there's a ward on this, so they'll very much know where Cinkrof's going to be in the early game. Should allow Hadess to make some hopefully aggressive decisions when it comes to his pathing. I want to see him challenging and looking to contest and apply pressure.
Well, both junglers will be starting off with a leash as Adam and Dreedy taking a bit of a scrap. Dreedy will come out on the better end of that thanks to his E.
Yeah, I mean, Renekton doesn't really hold his own until like level 3. You can obviously apply pressure earlier, but into something like Urgot that has a range advantage and just a shotgun legs doing so much damage, you're not really able to do much. And bot lane, it's pressure again for Corp. TahmKench really strong level 1, and also just Jinx can use the rockets just to shove the wave in, so Corp should be in a comfortable spot. But actually it's a level 2 hit first by UCAM.
Yeah, but Rafitta is actually the one who's going to receive a little bit of damage here as Plasma now exhausted. Targamas going to force the flash, but he goes for the gobble and can spit Plasma back out as they get the zap off, but that's first blood for Rafitta. xMatty trying to fire out into Plasma, but Plasma's able to get a bit of a turnaround. So 1-for-1, both AD carries secure a kill.
It gets very messy. You can see the health potion ticking for Plasma, nearly enough to keep him alive, but not quite. Both bot lanes looking to apply pressure here. All in all, both AD carries survived, both AD carries get a kill. It's not really an advantage for either side. But yeah, so it's actually UCAM who managed to get that level 2 first. Plasma with a bit of an overcommit, but then the thing is, Targamas has the exhaust. They don't have the ignite to quickly kill off. They don't have the heal either. So it's the combat summoners which put this in favor of UCAM again. And then able to turn it around. xMatty with the minigun just able to find enough damage to cut through the Leona despite the healing.
Looks like Hadess might be sniffing around this top lane. May just look to contest the crab as Plasma does spot out Saken. He locks him down, actually. He's going to take a fair amount of damage in response to Cinkrof doing a bit of damage here. Targamas joins up with his team as Baca will dodge away on the swell seed as Plasma takes it, as Dreedy's now rotated over. There's 4 members fighting for this crab. And I think Karmine Corp are just going to call it here. Going to step away and probably head towards that bot lane grab.
Yeah, Dreedy coming down for the top lane was a difference maker given that numbers advantage, but good to see Plasma roaming down early to be able to assist Hadess and picking that one up. You can see a lot of contention coming in, especially when both these junglers pretty effective at playing the jungle. They want to be taking 2 crabs if possible, but it will just be a trade-off 1-for-1.
Yeah, no contest is going to come in onto this bot lane. Unless Rafitta finds a miracle W, like we saw.
Deadly.
Deadly, there we go. Don't know why I had Dreedy in my head there. Deadly doing the first game of the day.
Dreedy's in this game, you know?
That's why. My brain doesn't work is the real answer.
We've known that for a long time, Jake, honestly.
Me smart.
Yeah, Targamas trying to help shove this wave in, but it's actually in a really nice position for Baca. So far, though, games were pretty slow in the early game. You know, we talked about Hadess wanting to apply that pressure. Haven't seen too much. The contest obviously came out there, but really not too impactful. One thing I can praise Cinkrof for is they've got a lot of vision on the bot side of the map. Potentially sets them up for an early dragon if they want, or at bare minimum, it denies Hadess from going for one as it spawns.
So level 4 on both AD carries, so level 2 on the supports. Obviously, the roaming for the crab has cost them pretty heavily in the farm area. I think Cinkrof, just go on.
I think the wild thing for me is the fact that we came in with such high expectations for K-Corp, and they dropped that game to sub up, which was a bit of a shock to everyone. They've now dropped a game to UCAM, and our expectations were really high, especially because when we look at the LFL, they have been so strong domestically, but critically, it's kind of been spring where they've really excelled. In 2019 spring, it was Misfits Prime, I believe they were at the time, or was it still Misfits Premier? Either way,
I think it was still Misfits Premier.
Okay, Misfits Premier. They came in and won it, managed to win the whole thing, and then we saw in 2020 spring we had LDLC winning. And the fact that they're now 1 game away from potentially not making it at all to the finals would be pretty devastating for the region.
I think the really great thing about this as well, for both teams, is both teams have shown weaknesses, and I think XL also showed weaknesses, so it means our final game will be very, very fun, but now the action's breaking out as Plasma gonna get himself locked down by the tongue lash. There is a heal to keep him up for a little bit, but xMatty secured the kill. Rafitta's been exhausted. Cinkrof is going to miss out, and the zap also goes wide. The Realm Warp's coming in, and it looks like backup is here for Karmine Corp. As Saken steps forward, Cinkrof not level 6 yet, so nobody's going to be taking a little nap yet.
Just over-aggressive positioning from UCAM's bot lane. In that situation, the wave is pushing into you. You don't need to step up like that. Hadess wasn't quite there in time, and it opened up a window for K-Corp to play aggressive, and now they can translate that into a dragon. You do see UCAM, though, potentially looking to contest. Plasma, pretty short respawn time, but yeah, Matty's caught out.
Matty does have flash, he does have cleanse, he's got teleport as well to keep himself alive. The traps are zoning Rafitta, and Rafitta is now caught out. He is in the wrong place, trying to see if he can get a kill onto Matty, but he is locked down, and Adam secures the kill. Here comes Dreedy, though. Does throw out the Fear Beyond Death onto Matty. Just can do a little bit of damage, but not enough to find the execution. UCAM, the AD carry, just gets caught off.
Yeah, try to take out Matty. The flash difference ends up being the thing in that situation. And UCAM won't even be able to pick the dragon off the back of that. Yeah, so Matty looks like he's in a difficult position, but realistically, with the flash available, Rafitta isn't able to find the kill. A good flash from Matty to avoid that burst damage from the W, and then you're just trapped in... I mean, you're on the wrong side of the map. 4 members of K-Corp able to collapse down.
The traps and the teleport doing a fantastic job as well of just zoning any escape routes for Rafitta. Hard situations to get out of became impossible, and Rafitta ends up losing his life. Now, the 500 gold lead. See what Karmine Corp are going to look to do next. This dragon, remember, still wasn't taken off the back of all that action, as Adam and Dreedy just continuing to have a bit of a skirmish in the top lane. Dreedy is up in farm at the moment.
Which, you know, it's a positive, but it's by 2 CS, so, you know, I guess you will be able to catch this wave and amplify it. At this point, both junglers have passed that level 6 point, have their ultimates available, so Hadess should feel confident if he does end up in a skirmish and Cinkrof's there. Is looking for Adam here, and just as I'm talking about, this is going to be a skirmish.
Does have that Ragnarok, but doesn't want to fire it too early, otherwise Cinkrof can sleep him as soon as it wears off. Riftail's been started up, and even mid laner really has complete dominance of the lane, but it is leaning towards Saken somewhat, so he'll be able to roam over first. Half health onto the Rift Herald, and the action hasn't come to an end yet as Adam flashes forward. There's the Ragnarok, there's the flip back as Adam, low HP. The Fear Beyond Death has not been fired out yet, and that is a double kill for Saken. Baca running away, Rift Herald secured, Karmine Corp firing back in game number 3.
They just take agency. They instantly start the fight. They know Saken is able to get there slightly sooner, able to pick up both those kills, but critically, just that initial burst damage coming out, Adam, a little bit too hard to deal with here. So he jumps in and does go for the stun, which is obviously the Ragnarok cancels instantly. But he just absolutely chunks Hadess out here. And yeah, he'll get flipped up, but he's got the ult. He's able to buy a lot of time and get that massive healing in. And then again, Saken's there first. He can assist. Baca isn't able to have any relevance in this fight. Isn't able to use the ult. And K-Corp pulling pretty far ahead.
Cinkrof got himself a 2-level lead over Hadess as well. Really starting to pull ahead. It's looking very rough as the crab is getting started up, but actually it's not even getting started at Hadess. Knows he can't contest that one, although Baca is in the area, but with the bot lane and the mid lane shove, Cinkrof will secure himself his crab and turn that very quickly into a dragon.
Yeah, picking up another skull, got the dragon, got the herald in pocket, 2 levels up. Well, now 1 level in the jungle matchup. 2-0 for Saken on his Ryze. Things are very stacked in K-Corp's favor in this one. And really for UCAM, I think they need to start looking for scenarios where they have a numbers advantage. Right now, it's kind of been matching in terms of total numbers, but the execution's been better for K-Corp. Rotation's a little bit snappier. They need to either find a pick or have their members arrive first, because I feel like if this one goes late, you're still going to be dealing with that Jinx from xMatty, and Saken on the Ryze is not an easy target to deal with.
And we did have a Ryze earlier on in the day from Leader, but the key issue with the Ryze in that game was the range. He couldn't really get close enough to do any damage. UCAM have pretty low range, so they will be jumping into Saken's face, and that will allow him to kind of just unload the damage into the UCAM members. So not only is it a comfort pick for Saken, but it does work here in this comp.
Hadess looking to apply pressure, but I think this might just be the typical throw the herald down mid, get 2 plates play. Although actually it seems like they're just applying pressure mid, and they're going to rotate down bot. So Rafitta and Plasma have to be really scared. Ryze definitely solid at just rotating down with his ultimate and applying pressure. For now, Hadess won't really find anything in the top lane, and K-Corp now have the information. They know where the enemy jungler is. If they want to make something proactive happen, they can, but looks like for now they'll just go for a reset on Maddie. Oh, never mind.
Not happening today, friend. Matty will just step back into the dry bush and now finally go for the reset. I did actually think Saken and Cinkrof might look for a Rim Warp into the bot lane and look to place the Herald and go for the dive. They decide not to do so. The Herald is timing fairly low, so they don't have too much longer to use it.
I guess maybe they're concerned about the TP from Baca, the shockwave coming in there, and the fact that Rafitta and Plasma have all their summoners, so didn't want to risk it. And I think that's kind of, in this game, you don't really have to risk it at K-Corp. You're not sort of against the timer like potentially seen in other situations. These first 2 games were very much about the winning team setting their pace, having enough to stick to it. But this one has been, I would say, a little bit slower, but K-Corp definitely still find the advantages, but it doesn't feel like there's pressure on them to push it out. Although saying that, they are looking for a play. Rafitta's out, yeah.
Did use the Abyssal Voyage by Targamas just to get a lick.
It's so ridiculous how short the range is on Abyssal Voyage level 1. That's kind of like the limit of what you can do. It's like not even, it's like a screen away. That's all you get. Obviously, it does ramp up later, but for now, limited out. And now they are going to go for that sort of throw the Herald down mid, get 2 plates play.
Although the big thing is, I don't think Saken's going to get close enough. He is just about in range to get those 2 plates for himself.
Yeah, missed it, but did manage to pick it up. And now that means if K-Corp can get the second Herald, they can get the mid tower quite easily. Allows them to push in a lot deeper and apply that pressure outwards. So just generally what you want to be looking for. If you aren't able to take one of the towers in the side lane, mid for 2 plates is always a safe bet.
Plate was picked up by Dreedy in the top lane, who is down a little bit in farm to Adam, but it's really non-consequential right now. But he has got himself a level disadvantage to Adam, thanks to that kill and the assist that Adam's got. Pace has definitely taken a little bit of a slowdown. You can see actually Bit of the XP leads right now on your screens on the left-hand side.
Turret plating will fall.
Yeah, there's nothing too big in anyone's advantage necessarily, really. Other than that jungle matchup where there is like a whole level lead. Cinkrof just hitting level 10 at this point, and
2-level lead.
yeah, I think at this point, really, the Olaf, we wanted to see that early strength kind of momentum.
Oh, no.
Comes in.
Yeah, Dreedy's going to sleep, and Adam's going to follow up with a little bit more damage. Dreedy flashes out, and the teleport is there. UCAM don't lose their top laner as the bowling ball goes in between the goalposts.
You'll happily just take the teleport, you take that one for free, next play you go for, that response isn't there. So Corp respecting, backing away, I think it's the right decision. And actually, second teleport bin by Dreedy, that's 2 for 0 essentially. Corp, but they want to make a play around the map, they are very comfortable to do so. They know the response from the mid and top laner can't just instantly be there with those TPs. And now with Dragon spawning in 40 seconds, potentially opens up a window.
Part of me thought maybe they were going to lean towards that Rift Herald. It's also spawning up fairly soon, but it looks like that's not going to be the game plan for now. It's probably going to just be towards this Dragon. As you can see the lean from KC. Now those teleports are down, they are feeling more comfortable. Instantly, Saken moves out towards the bot side, looking for the Realm Warp, and Baca is only going to be able to walk down to match if he wants to. Saken just playing in the fog of war beautifully here, kind of causing panic for UCAM. Dreedy also making his way down towards the mid wave. As remember, he did burn his teleport to catch the wave topside.
Yes, Cinkrof stepping up a bit, but has the vision control in return. Should be okay here. Definitely an edge here with the goal lead towards Corp. I think really for UCAM, it's going to be hard. I struggle to see them getting really easy backline access. Ideally, they want to find someone who's isolated and just dive onto them. If someone's trying to find a flank, if someone's split off, just be able to blow them up quickly is the win con here. But right now, they're just starting up the Dragon. This might be rough.
Balls there to zone from Baca. The Dragon's going low, and that's going to be secured by Hadess. UCAM equalize out the Dragon score, but now the Realm Warp's been used by Saken just as a little bit of a bait. Nobody's following in. Shockwave lands on the multiple members. Rafitta untouched for the moment, and a Fear Beyond Death by Dreedy is going to be enough to secure 1 kill. Now they lock Adam down. Adam flashes into Rafitta's face. He flashes away to safety. Cinkrof going for a nap, but he is running away for the moment. Here comes xMatty. Matty's health bar is so healthy right now as Saken flashes forward, looks to bounce the Q. The overload won't bounce yet, and now Rafitta, Plasma, and Baca running to the wind. Adam has come on the flank. His dominance is timed out, but he has got the rage charged up, and he is ready to pop. UCAM somehow get out from that one.
Yeah, I mean, it looked messy at first. That shockwave pretty critical, and I think the thing was, Corp were unable to follow them through the choke. It was a really rough spot to fight, but ultimately, it's going to be UCAM who get the Dragon and get out. So they start the Dragon up. The steal attempt coming in is pretty good with the rocket combo with Cinkrof, but then they're trying to follow in here. Obviously, Saken never going to take that Realm Warp, but they walk in the shockwave. Great dive in that allows the ult to come through from Dreedy. Unfortunately, doesn't have flash, otherwise potentially could have gone for a triple fear, but then the turnaround comes in. And critically, if you watch Saken and xMatty, they were just untouched throughout the entire fight. They're not able to push forward. They aren't able to catch anyone in this situation. But again, if you're not dealing with Saken and xMatty, you're not going to win an extended fight.
And now xMatty 4-0-1, Saken 2-0-2. I mean, there you go. There's the damage. That tells the tale. Didn't deal with Saken and xMatty. 3,000 damage out of Saken's actually crazy.
Honestly, it's that simple. And again, in those clump fights, with the composition of UCAM, where you have Dreedy, Hadess, and Plasma all being short-ranged, and even Rafitta as well isn't a long-range carry, very easy just to bounce your blue things. Forgot the name.
Overloads.
Overloads. Bounce your overloads across.
Bounce your blue things.
I mean, the blue.
You're not wrong. Or are they purple?
Maybe it depends on the skin. It depends on the skin.
True, because I think in the Guardians, the sand skin, it's golden.
Yeah, but it's kind of unfair to base it on that.
He's not using that skin, so I'll give you the benefit of the doubt this time. As UCAM looking to start up this Rift Herald. I mean, they've started it. It's going low. Adam's going to try and jump in. The Solar Flare collects onto 2. That's the cleanse used by xMatty. The Herald was secured by UCAM, and a shockwave. It's disgusting. Baca doing all of the work. That's going to be an absolute whitewash of a team fight. As Saken able to get one on the tail end, but Baca flashes forward and Cinkrof loses a life. A double kill for Baca. Give the man a pat on the back. That was beautiful.
Huge shockwave just to turn that one completely in their favor. Saken was kind of split off to the side, did manage to get a kill on the back end, but honestly, it's these choke points, these thin entry points. The solar flare connects on a 2, and then as they're trying to disengage, the shockwave hits all 4, instantly kills Adam. They end up being able to get Targamas with the ultimate from the Urgot, and then Maddie is just not in a good position. Cinkrof buys some time, but the flash chase down from Baca. It's the choke points. Avoid the choke points if you're K-Corp. That is the lesson here.
We've learned 2 lessons from the last fight. If you're UCAM, kill Matty and Saken. If you're K-Corp, avoid choke points. Let's see what they do with their lessons, whether the lessons stick. 19 minutes into the game, we can take a stock of the items right now. Dreedy has finished up his Titanic Hydra, Gore Drinker on Hadess. Everybody's slowly working towards their second items, although K-Corp on their carries now have their 2 items, and that Archangel's almost stacked as well. So the tower gets taken by Adam, so be able to cash in and get himself a little bit more items, if not finish something up.
Yeah, even with that team fight win for UCAM, still a gold lead for K-Corp, still 3 towers to 0. Dragons are even, but another one's spawning in a minute, so we'll see if they opt to contest. I feel like on the back of that, UCAM must have some confidence about them taking a fight, but again, it's all around playing with the terrain. You find a choke point where K-Corp are going to struggle to push through, gives you ample opportunity to find a big shockwave in more open areas, like in the mid lane, a lot more space for Maddie and Saken to navigate with and find success in the team fights.
Now, Dragon spawns in 30 seconds time, and it's Karmine Corp who have themselves a foothold here in the river, and they are forcing UCAM away slowly but surely. Remember, UCAM do have that Baron, and Dreedy not even willing to fire it off. He's just going to purge away at the tower. The constant machine guns. Sorry, the Herald.
I was about to say, did I miss them get Baron?
Dreedy gets a Baron recall, but that's about as close as we get.
Cop out. Come on, Jake. You're better than this.
I know.
Oh, don't the Herald done that? I mean, yeah, they're just... It's second Dragon for K-Corp. You guys really don't care. They can just throw down the Herald. They're going to get this tower. They've got 2 on the top side. We're talking about it was 3-0. It's not 3-2. And I don't think you're concerned about the Dragon. They should just
coming out. They may get another charge out that Herald. I actually think Dreedy could have hung around, but I think he's more concerned about making sure his team don't get caught out. They'll definitely get a charge out from that Herald, because nobody's going to be able to get there in time, although maybe Saken will.
No, it's going to try.
UCAM just going to keep the tempo up, looking for this tier 1 in the mid lane, as Matty will eat the Void Seeker.
Yeah, it was pretty nice. They forced someone to respond to the Herald, because you don't just want to let it keep pushing. Still gets a charge in, able to get, I mean, not really much damage on the mid lane tower, but crashes the wave in, UCAM can get a reset. And again, second Dragon, you're not really too bothered about. It's a Cloud Soul as well, so I think certain teams will look at that and drop the priority significantly on how concerned you are about K-Corp stacking it. UCAM managing to bring back the gold lead a bit, only 1,000 down now. And this game 3, still very down to the wire as to who can take this one.
I will be fair to UCAM. I think Cloud Soul's really lovely for them. When you got the Ragnarok on with Cloud Soul, same from the Killer Instinct from Rafitta, the team that actually uses that Cloud Soul very effectively is a long way away, as they've only secured themselves 1 Dragon, while KC did pick that one up there. For now, it's just a matter of trying to close out these final towers for UCAM. They are down in the tower department at the moment.
It's standing gold. It's just gold left on the map that you can easily pick up this point. But that's 2 members on the bot side. They both have TP. K-Corp want to force them, so they're going to start up the Baron. I guess a response just needs to come in. This is going fast.
It's going very quick, as tower's already been taken. They placed the wards down. The teleports are coming in. And that's going to be 1 teleport burnt. That's going to be 2 teleports burnt. UCAM committed a lot there. See if they can answer out with this tower in the mid lane. They took the topside tower. Going to swim a couple of members in Targamas' belly. But it's not going to be enough, as UCAM now pull themselves equal in gold and pull themselves ahead in the fire as the towers go. The Ragnarok is actually popped by Hadess. And here is Adam. They're using the Realm Warp. They're not going to bring anyone in, and that's just going to be the end of Hadess. Hadess is down. Adam secures the kill. No jungler for 40 seconds. KC can actually look towards this Baron.
Yeah, bare minimum, they can bait it to start a fight, but UCAM have to respond. No smite available to them. They're going to have to try and ace them here to stop them from getting the Baron, or at least force them off.
Solar Flare Shockwave. That is what we're looking for UCAM. KC looking for some kind of turnaround. They do have all of their flashes available. This Baron is going so low. Adam's coming in. There's the solar flare. Here's the fear beyond death. The shockwave only hits one. The Baron is secured by the side of UCAM, but the fight is on. Matty untouched. Plasma flashes away. Rafitta secures himself a double kill. Now another one for Baca. It's going to be the triple kill, and it's an ace for the side of UCAM. KC are wiped.
They steamroll the fight. It was just like shooting fish in a barrel. Rafitta able to clean up on that one. They're all trapped in the Baron pit. Yes, they get the purple worm, but they lose the fight as a result. You can see it's slow on the approach, and it does mean the Baron ends up going down, but they are more focused on the subsequent fight. Ult comes down. Would have hit Maddie and Saken, but the flash from Saken is beautiful, but then he's trapped in the pit with no flash. They try and buy time. Adam tries to dive on a Rafitta, but Rafitta too healthy, pumping out too much damage, and Maddie, he ends up flashing out to clean up this kill, but the rest of them are stuck. Even with that turnaround damage coming in, Rafitta able to swiftly navigate that one and dodge away. Just beautiful execution and the right decision, ultimately. UCAM knew they weren't getting the Baron. They weren't concerned. And in that scenario, if you're trading 4 for 1, there's no buffs on K-Corp anyway. You can see the Baron timer on the top left, down 1,000 gold after picking it up.
And Maddie, the only player who is going to be able to hold on to that Baron, so can't really threaten the side lanes. It's just going to be mid lane duty for Matty once again. UCAM, beautiful little turnaround there.
That's what they need. They can win these team fights. It's again the backline access. And if K-Corp are going to trap themselves in a pit, then yeah, it's a freebie.
Baca not going to fire that shockwave. Matty able to dodge away. Dragon spawning up in 38 seconds. UCAM have the inside track on the mid wave. Even with the Baron on Matty defending this mid, they will lose the tier 2 mid side. They are going to look to trade it for a tier 2 in the top lane, but Dreedy also answers out in the bot lane by taking himself to tower. So overall, the numbers in favor as the rocket comes out from Matty just to do a little bit of poke.
I think
these UCAM members.
Well. Baca was. Oh, they're looking to engage.
Yeah, Rafitta slides in. They've thrown him down. Cinkrof is just going to be melted as Rafitta secures the kill. The traps not really going to result in anything else here as Baca eats one of them. Saken is pushing up in the top lane. He will crack open the tower, but won't really be able to get the inhibitor. So the Dragon will be spawning up now, and UCAM are the ones with the pressure in the area. No Cinkrof about. UCAM will secure themselves their second Dragon.
Not too much of a concern. Again, second Dragon, especially with the Cloud Soul. K-Corp aren't too bothered, but losing Cinkrof, not ideal. They do, however, get that 2 towers in the top lane, keeping themselves close. This game still down to the wire, and again, for me, it very much comes down to how these fights play out, but UCAM definitely more confident at this point, looking to start fights, find picks, and quite a lot of tools to do so. Plasma on this Leona honestly been stellar so far.
Gold is so close. The Dragons are exactly equal. The towers only slightly in favor of UCAM. This is an exceptionally close game right now. But it is UCAM who seem to keep edging ahead in every little one of these skirmishes, in every one of these fights. K-Corp are on the back foot in that regards.
It's the individual gold. We're feeling quite a bit ahead of Maddie right now. It's pretty even in the mid lane. There's some differences across the map, but I'd say 1,000 gold lead between AD carries is kind of where it's significant. Doubt it's going to amount to too much right now, but Rafitta is looking strong. And I think critically, a level lead as well between AD carries is definitely going to be a factor.
Yeah, Rafitta's got the Collector, got himself the Phantom Dancer and a Kraken Slayer, building towards that Infinity Edge. Matty's on 3 items as well, Kraken Slayer. Armor pen item, which I've forgotten the name, Lord Doms, and
not doing well. I remember names of stuff always.
I'm struggling today, mate. I mean, you got the blue thing. Yeah, it's not going great.
It's cool. It's cool. It's fine as long as you know.
The game's got us too hype. That's what it is. We're just too excited about the game. We can't remember things because we're excited.
Yep, absolutely. But I feel like it's kind of going to be a little bit slow until this next Baron spawns. Might see teams posturing for it. But honestly, I feel like whichever team ends up in the Baron pit just loses. Like, if you're starting an objective and you're trapped in the pit and you don't have an easy route to get out, you're just going to get absolutely decimated. So I feel like both teams are probably going to be tentative on that. I think Dragon is not as much of a concern for UCAM. At least you're taking less damage from it. And also, it's kind of easy for them to peel out the Dragon pit. So really comes down to it. And I think we've seen a lot in this game so far how much terrain influences the team fights. You know, choke points, having wide open spaces, how the fight starts, where people are positioned, massive factors so far. But UCAM, looking at you for a pick. Targamas, you're very overextended.
Yeah, Targamas isn't for a whole lot of hurt here. He does have the flash, so just clears the wall, but that is a flash down now. Meanwhile, Dreedy's the one who's in trouble. Looks to flash away himself, but the Realm Warp and everything is coming in to follow. Dreedy trying to buy some space, but xMatty is just slowly but surely cutting through his health bar. Dreedy down for 50 seconds. That is just really unfortunate positioning by him.
Not the play you want to make. Game 3 of the series, last one before you potentially out. Hadess looking for a bit more here, though.
They do throw out the Swirl Seed. Now Hadess has to be careful. He does have the Ragnarok and he's going to burn it. The Mega Death Rocket's going to connect and Adam slices over the wall. Ragnarok times out. That's going to be low health bars on to the UCAM jungler for the moment, but should be able to sustain up somewhat. Baron spawning in 9 seconds time. And if Hadess continues to take poke, this could be really problematic as Swirl Seed not going to hit. The Zap also not going to hit. UCAM have to be very careful right now.
You already remember down, but TP is available for Dreedy and he's spawning up soon, so you're ready to reply. But at this point in the game, death time is along, Baron's on the cards. Someone losing, someone dying here could mean massive impacts for the rest of the game. As you said, it's close. Both teams about even in goal, but Plasma, you're just dead.
Plasma, you're in so much trouble. Lockdown, he's got flash, but it's not even going to be necessary. Able to get over the wall in time, but that is a flashless Plasma, a half health Plasma.
I really thought Plasma was just down there. Now looking to push in with Hadess again, and both these teams just fishing for picks in this situation. And if they find one successfully, they find a clean pick, that's going to likely mean they can start up that Baron. Dreedy is trying to find a window, but you don't really have the vision in that area. It needs to back away.
Yeah, scuttling around the rift nice and quick, going to make his way back towards that bot lane. Closing in on that level 16 mark, so we'll have the final points in the Fear Beyond Death. Don't think this wave is going to be quite enough, although it's going to put him very close. No, not enough. One more wave. But don't greed for that wave, Dreedy.
I think Saken can just kill him honestly here.
I think Saken has the capability to. He's going to be able to throw out the blue thing, as you would call it. Goes for the flip, and that is so much damage coming in. The 50 that's there. Dreedy trying to sustain up for the moment. Goes into the bush. Saken is low. They've got almost enough for the ulti. Time's out. Oh, Saken finds the kill. Baron has been started by UCAM, though. They're inside the pit.
Saken's got TP.
People once are out. Nope.
Yeah, they peel off. They peel off. Oh my, that was so close from Saken. Honestly, I thought it was going down. Manages to find it, but all in all, doesn't really amount to too much in this situation. I don't think Baron's going to be started by Corp, but a close 1v1 there. And actually, with the extra member, Maddie's just going to be able to pick up this dragon. Will be the third of the game.
No magic resist on Dreedy. He's itemized for armor. He's itemized for xMatty. And that means Saken can just cut through him. Level 17 right now.
And honestly, Dreedy had such a good game too, but it's been a little bit rough. Back to back getting picked off. Not what you want to see, especially when these picks can have such an impact. Baron's still on the cards. Both teams potentially looking for a window to start it.
Yeah.
It is the tool to close the game out.
I do want to take a look at the inventories. Stopwatch on Baca. Zonya's on Saken. On cooldown at the moment. They've got the stopwatch on xMatty. They've got the stopwatch on Rafitta. These teams are ready for the next team fight. Infinity Edge was also just finished up for Rafitta, and they're looking for the fight. They're looking to go, locking it down Targamas, who has to stopwatch himself, but the traps have been laid down. Adam's been zoned for the moment as he just flashes into the face, and that's the rocket. Rafitta stopwatches. Dreedy comes in for the fear. Adam tries to go forward. The flash over the wall by Rafitta. Shockwave by Baca is absolutely huge, and KC are being decimated by UCAM. Adam does a whole lot of damage. It's 2 versus 2, but Rafitta's still alive. They're in the slow. They're in the zone. Rafitta is going to run down Adam as he is taken out. Cinkrof, 1 versus 2, does lock them down with a Swirl Seed, but he does not have the capability to find the kill. This is the team fight for UCAM.
It's just a tiny edge there for UCAM, and it really came down to Baca. That fight was lost in all honesty, but the shockwave is clutch, and we watch. The positioning is actually really good here for xMatty and Saken at the start. They're on this little pathway where they have space to navigate. The fight's going on this choke point. xMatty can just free hit from back here. He's comfortable. Saken is in a decent spot as well. He can't really get too much damage down. The ult connects down onto Targamas, pulls him in. But it's at this point when they start to push forward, they don't respect the ball. The double shockwave nearly insta-kills xMatty, and Saken then goes down with the follow-up. And again, that fight was good for K-Corp, but then they push into the choke, the shockwave catches them, they end up falling down.
Now, they don't get the Baron off the back of that, but again, I just look at the damage coming out.
I mean, that's a shockwave. That is literally Baca, that shockwave coming in clutch. I mean, essentially just killed. We were talking about the win cons for the fight. Talked about the terrain, talked about how Saken and xMatty need to die, and Baca single-handedly kills both of them there. And now they're starting the Baron, but
they're looking for it. Stopwatches aren't quite available yet for Rafitta. Remember, he did use it, does have the QSS. The Baron has been secured. Kai'Sa just going to have to step away. UCAM looking to knock the tournament favorites out here, but it is not done. Here's the lilting lullaby. Going to put a couple of members to sleep. Ragnarok has used teleports down. Traps have been laid off for the moment, and that is going to be Dreedy teleporting in for the moment, but able to get away.
K-Corp are so hesitant on this one. They're scared if they commit to a fight, if they overcommit and push forward into shockwave, and the carriers go down, they'll just lose. They'll be knocked out of the tournament.
This game is resting on a knife's edge.
I remember for both of these teams, there is no second chances. There is no second team from their region. We've had times where we get to the semis and regions will have 2 representatives. It gives you that extra out. Obviously, the players themselves don't always feel that way. You love to represent your region, but you also want to win for you. But at this point, K-Corp, last representative of the LFL. UCAM, last representative of the Superliga. Your region, all the hopes are relying on you. And it could just come down to one team fight, one misplay. UCAM now pushing up with the Baron, looking to knock down more of these towers.
Slowly but surely, they're walking the waves in. Not completely syncing them up though, and Saken is able to deal with these top lane waves, even with the Baron buff magic resist. It's almost a full item Ryze. He does cut through the waves fairly quickly.
Yeah, I mean, Ryze Jinx, in terms of stalling games out, I'd say it's pretty good, pretty solid, you know. Kind of hard to push even with the Baron minions. Dragon spawning in 45, which UCAM can pick up when it does arrive, but again, it's just third for them, it's not Soul. They want to make some headway on the base. K-Corp. Bit of poke comes out, actually quite a lot of poke in all honesty.
I mean, that's a 4-item Jinx hitting back at half health in him as Lilting Lullaby is exchanged for Ragnarok as the Swirl Seed. Go a little bit wide, not going to hit anyone with a bowling ball. And that's actually going to be Baca going for the reset. He does have teleport, remember, so can join up with the team if needs be. I think that's going to be all she wrote on the siege. I think UCAM are more interested in trying to secure themselves this dragon. dodging away on the Swirl Seed will be spotted out by the vision and the ward. Dreedy's on the flank.
Yeah. The shockwave is the big thing. Watch the ball from back in, see where it ends up.
Dreedy goes in forwards. Adams popped the Dominus already.
His ult's wasted if you back off.
Not on the same page there for KC as they burn Adams' ultimate.
This is
Cloud Dragon's going to get secured for UCAM.
Second time in a row, Adams just popped his ult. Nothing happened. Dragon picked up. Keiko back away. They opted out once again. And it's just another objective for UCAM. It's still close. You can still feel it's on the knife's edge, but UCAM are starting to pull away, picking up these objectives. Now 3 dragons in pocket, but a while away from the next Baron.
Is now the full build for Rafitta. Finished up the Mercurial Scimitar, so now full build on that one. Baca not doing so hot on the Medjay stacks right now. So that one def stripping away a fair few of those.
The thing is, I felt like Keiko were ready to fight. I mean, you can even see in the inventories, Cinkrof has a potion of sorcery, xMatty has the potion of wrath. Like, you only buy these if you're looking to take a big fight. And I guess they just didn't see the window, didn't opt into it.
Cinkrof actually pops the sorcery potion there. Not going to hit that Swirl Seed, and there's no real opportunity to engage unless they can teleport someone in. But don't think they really want to go into a Leona face first like that.
Expect things to slow down a bit. Just waiting for those objectives. There's no point fighting for no reason. If you catch someone out getting vision, sure. But other than that, there's too much on the line. It's 38 minutes into the game. You don't want to play with fire. You wait for a reason to fight. But now they're just going to pick up these side waves, farm a little bit more gold, try and close out those last items in time for either... Well, Baron's going to be the first one on the cards and would be sold for both teams in 3.5 minutes. And as we said earlier, Cloud Soul maybe not always the highest priority, but definitely has value when a game's this close.
And Rafitta's just dinged 18, while Matty's still 16. So full items, full levels on Rafitta. Got the Wrath Potion popped as well. Rafitta's at max damage. This you don't get stronger unless you sell your boots. And I think boots are still pretty important right now. Because it looks like UCAM are just going to try and bully their way into the mid wave. They have not got Saken in the area, but you've got Jinx. Yeah, it's gone. Yeah.
I mean, this is the problem. It's like, even with Baron, it's hard to push. But when Baron's not even on the cards, it's just so easy for K-Corp to wave clear. And I mean, here's the big difference. Is we saw UCAM, they got 6 towers. But unlike K-Corp, they weren't able to break the base. They weren't able to get that inhibitor tower. And it's so easy for K-Corp just to form this defensive line and keep their base protected. It's really those objectives that are going to force K-Corp to leave the base. That's why you see UCAM now. They're moving over this blue side jungle. They're clearing out the vision. And K-Corp need to respond. They need to push out a bit and start to contest it. Because if they wait for the Baron to spawn and they just try and walk to the fog of war, that's an easy recipe to lose a team fight.
Dreedy is going to eat the swell seed, but thanks to the disdain shield, is able to survive some of it, although it does keep hitting every now and then. UCAM fishing themselves for an opportunity to find themselves a team fight, but they've got that vision control in their favor right now. Pink ward's placed down just to clear out the final ward in the area. Teleport's coming in, and Dreedy has to be careful. Cinkrof flashing forwards, looking for the Lilting Lullaby. Fight looks to be on. They're going to flash away. Dreedy takes half his health. The Lilting Lullaby's been burnt, and that does buy a bit of safety for Rafitta. Dreedy can just teleport back in. He lost half his health, but he's okay to TP back in if he needs to. Baron's going to get secured, and Dreedy's base is going to be interrupted. He does have the Guardian Angel. Half health onto Baron. Dreedy forced away. Saken flashes forward. Does a lot of damage to him and will force out the GA for the moment. This might be the end of him, but Adam's also in trouble. Watch for that shockwave. That's the kill on top lane. Plasma's been caught out. Here comes the Realm Warp. Here comes the turnaround. Rafitta's going to get melted through. Saken is just popping off. It's a triple kill for him, and xMatty gets the next one. UCAM are just cooked by KC.
They're looking for the finish. They have a wave in mid lane. It's only Baca 50 seconds spawn times. Actually, the TP's been stopped.
They've caught him out. He's trying to get himself the turnaround, a quick kill onto Adam, but everybody else is dead. All he can do is kill this Crocodile and try to get out in time, but the Crocodile's going to be a complete nuisance. The Nexus towers are going to be under fire momentarily. Nobody is in the base. This is how Karmine Corp do it. This is how they make it to the finals.
Oh my lord, all game Saken is popping these Realm Warps, doesn't go in them. Pops a Realm Warp, doesn't go in it. And then when it comes to the 40-minute point in the game, he takes the Realm Warp, gets 2 kills instantly and pops the Zhonya's to survive. What a clutch play. At 40 minutes, your EU Masters run is on the line and you go for the big play and it delivers.
I mean, that was by the skin of their teeth. Karmine Corp make it into the grand finals versus BTXL. And UCAM, massive commiserations, because they honestly look like they deserved that. I've been both of the teams played their hearts out in this best of 3.
They were undefeated towards today. To be 8-0, first place in your region, and you come up against the blue wall and it holds strong. I mean, K-Corp, we're seeing them get challenged. We're definitely seeing them get challenged in situations. SupUp did, and now UCAM did, but they are still looking strong. And I think when they are on the right champions, when they're stepping up, we see just huge plays coming out. Saken, honestly, credit to him for just deciding this game's over. And yeah, it was.
Popping a triple kill. As you can see below me as well, Karmine Corp will be taking on BTXL in the finals. We'll be starting a little bit later, so make sure that you keep your schedules open for that one. 5:45 is when the broadcast starts between XL and Karmine Corp. And NLC versus LFL is going to be our grand final. It looked like we might have a Superliga versus NLC. And I thought there was a point in that game I was like, it's done. Karmine Corp can't come back. And then, like you said, Saken just goes for the biggest play ever. Now it's time for an interview with Targamas. So we're going to hand those reins over to Law to have a chat with the support from the side of Karmine Corp.
And thank you very much, guys. Great cast today. And Targamas, thank you so much for joining me. Congrats on making finals. Ta-da!
Hello.
Hi. How are you doing?
I'm doing really good after this, honestly. I can't believe we won the last game, but we did somehow.
I can imagine. Yeah, I want to say you got us scared here. And I remember from last week, we had an interview after the group stage, actually, at OTP, where I told you it feels like K-Corp didn't get any challenge here. So after this series, how do you feel? Was this the challenge you were expecting?
I mean, for sure, it was a good challenge. Like, UCAM is a really good team. They are undefeated for like 2 or 3 months now. So yeah, it was really hard for us to win the games. We came in really confident in the series, but we got surprised a bit, honestly. Like after game 2, after the beginning we had in game 2, we honestly thought that it was just over after we got the 2 kills on mid. But then we just, I don't know, maybe disrespected them a bit in draft, and yeah, they really surprised us. Like, big respect to them.
What was challenging about playing against them, especially? We're going to talk about the bot lane afterwards, but overall, when you think about the team and how they play, what made it difficult for you?
I just feel like they are contesting way more than other teams. Like, before the series, we thought they were not really aggressive. They were not really playing the lane really well. They were not fighting at all in our game. Like, we were checking the stats, and they didn't come up as a really proactive team to us. And I don't think they are that proactive, but at least I think they answered really well to our proactivity. So that made it a bit hard. And also, I think we just disrespected a lot, because game 2, game 3, we had such a huge lead in early games, and we kind of threw it. So we're really surprised that they are contesting a lot.
All right,
That's
well,
pretty much it.
What are the takeaways from this series that are going to help you win tomorrow, maybe?
I think after this win, honestly, we're just so confident for tomorrow. Like, I know it's our biggest enemy to be really confident, but this game, honestly, I thought it was lost. I thought our draft, like after we threw our lead, I thought it was really hard to come back, because we kind of had no engage. We had, like, our only way to find the fight was Lillia sleeping Orianna or Kai'Sa, and just a miracle, you know. So I didn't expect us to win, but Saken is just too good on Ryze.
Saken is just too good on Ryze, and now the world knows it. Focusing on another player we've been highlighting throughout the day, it's Plasma. You were playing against him on the bot lane. He was insane on those engages and how he created play for his team. How was it to play against him?
I don't think it's that different from playing from other supports in the tournament. I think he just plays really well. Like, he's not scared to engage. He's not scared to make the plays. Like, being down 0-1, like you pick Alistar last pick and you're just not scared to play. I think just big respect to him, because a lot of players, I think, wouldn't have made those engage. And yeah, he's just finding the good plays. A lot of time he's not scared to walk up aggressively and contest. So yeah, he's quite good.
He really was. I hope we can see more of him in the future. Now, Targamas, I know we had like a number of interviews. I don't even count them now, but most of the people here are discovering you in the EU Masters, and I feel like everyone is wondering, what makes you guys so good? Do you feel like you had a progression since the beginning of the EU Masters? And overall, when you think about the synergy for all the K-Corp members and the team, what makes you guys so powerful?
I think we're just overall really underrated, I would say, like in the beginning of the year, because like our players basically have not been doing that well, like especially in 2020. Like Saken didn't have the best year, Cinkrof either, so I think people just underrate us a lot from that. They don't rate our players that highly. Like, for example, when I see people talk about other mids in the tournament, when clearly Saken is like by far the best mid of the tournament, like there's not even any discussion to have. And yeah, I think we're just really hungry to prove ourselves, because we are like what, 3 players that played in ADC 1 split, then got kicked or like didn't do that well. So we're just really hungry to prove that we actually deserve maybe another shot.
I said it many times, but I'm super happy to see you guys working so well together and how the team has performed so far. And now you'll get to play in the EU Masters Finals facing BTXL. Again, they want to get the revenge. What do you think about the matchup against them, especially now it's going to be best of 5?
I think best of 5 is our comfort zone. Like, I'm always really happy to play best of 5, because that's where you can do a lot of stuff in drafts. You can maybe like try something new that you won't be scared if you lose one game. like in the best of 3, of course, it's really different because if you lose game 1, then all of a sudden you're back against the wall, and you lose another game, you're just out. Best of 5, of course, it's really different. We already won 2 times against XL, so of course we come in really confident, but they kind of stepped up in the bracket stage, so we have to look out a bit for them, but I think we're the better team by far, so we should take it.
Oh well, there's still some confidence here. But Targamas, thank you so much for the interview. Best of luck tomorrow. Merci beaucoup.
Thank you.
Ouais, force au blue wall.
Karmine.
Karmine. And we're gonna get the finals we wanted to get, ladies and gentlemen. We're gonna have BTXL versus Corp playing in the EU Masters Spring Finals. I'm super hyped. I'm really super hyped. None of these teams have ever played in the EU Masters Finals. We have a lot of rookies. What excites you the most about this matchup, Goldberg?
I think it's got to be that proactivity and how they're going to be dealing with it from the side of BTXL, because I'll admit it already now. I'm a bit worried from our region, just seeing how well Corp has done today. But it also has shown that they have some clear weaknesses. They are overconfident. So I think it's going to be about these small skirmishes that's going to define the game when you head for that early to mid game, because it seems like Corp is putting in a lot of effort to get a foot inside the door to get towards that late game and have a win condition there. So early to mid game, I'm looking forward for those brawls, those skirmishes, all that small fighting.
Honestly, if they can bleed, they can also fall. This is my whole thought process behind it, because we have something on the side of BTXL that Corp doesn't. We have an EU Masters finalist, and Deadly has gone really close to the water, but he wasn't able to drink. And this time he's coming back with a vengeance. We saw how he was able to step up today as well. And Corp, of course, are not going to be a joke. They're clearly the favorites for a reason. But again, if they can bleed, they can fall. And BTXL have majorly stepped up for the knockout stage.
They felt confident, but honestly, from the interview I just had with Targamas, it feels like they just had a reality check. And in a way, it humbled them down. They're going to come prepared tomorrow. Where is it going to play out? I see the top lane matchup behind us, and that's what I'm excited about.
I absolutely love this. This is like the ex-LEC legend trying to prove himself again, trying to reignite the fire. And he's against the guy who has the fire burning already. The rookie coming in, absolutely surprising everyone. And then these guys are going to go head-to-head on, I really hope, bruises.
And it's just to think, like, we talk about mid laners, right? But you can easily highlight all of these matchups that we get across the map. Just like, Hattrick had a hard time containing leader today. Now he's going up against Saken, who just had that insane pop-up performance in the mid lane. You also have the two AD carries.
Best mid laner in the tournament.
We get xMatty versus Deadly again. This is like a storied bot lane matchup we have had in the North for years now, like with those two going against each other. So it's going to be really nice to see all these storylines and players tie each other together.
All right, time for predictions. And I've seen enough Shocks monologues to know that I'm never going to predict my team to win, so I'll leave it to you guys. Any early predictions for the finals tomorrow?
So I thought today if we had best of 5s instead of best of 3s, it was all going to go to 5 games, absolutely. So I'm definitely going to be expecting this to go 5 games. I have to go with my heart, 3-2 BTXL.
3-2 BTXL, yeah.
You know what, Lo, I'm going to do it for you, okay? NLC,
Jinx my team.
XL, everyone, I'm very sorry.
Don't do it, go
I'm very sorry. I am very sorry. But in the end, I'm looking at a 3-1 for Corp. And that only one game is because they're going to be overconfident and BTXL is going to catch them off guard. But when I look at this team, I've already seen them fare off against each other multiple times. Yes, XL has risen in a level, I'd say, throughout this playoffs. But when I'm looking at Corp, they're still the same and they're still a force to be reckoned with. And I'm expecting them to come up on top.
Traitor.
Yeah, the betrayal is huge here. And the fight tomorrow is going to be even more insane on that. But that's a wrap for us in the studio in Berlin. Thank you guys so much for being with me today. And thank you all for watching tonight. We will be back tomorrow for the epic conclusion of the EU Masters Springs between BTXL and Corp. Until then, have a great night. Woo! Woo!